Howdy, folks. Director Marvin Forte here with the Snake River Manufacturing KFNW Tournament Series presented by Diamond Parking and Self Storage. We're here for tour event number 1 of the 2026 season on Potholes Reservoir. Welcome to Moses Lake, Washington. Special thanks to our title sponsor, Snake River Manufacturing. KFNW has a long history with Steve Carroll at Snake River. He was inspired to start Snake River after attending the KFNW NRS Open on Dworshak Reservoir back in 2022. And he's been a big supporter of KFNW ever since. I also want to thank our presenting sponsor, Diamond Parking and Self Storage, for their continued support. Diamond is also our sponsor for Angler of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and the Citation Big Bass Awards. Thanks to our media sponsor, Northwest Tackle. We couldn't do all this media, the KFNW Current podcast, without them, so big thanks to them. And a big shout out to our tour sponsors, Native Watercraft and Boggs Footwear. Thanks also to Three Rivers Tackle, who are our Big Bass sponsor, and to Discount Tackle, who sponsors the First Angler Out of the Money Award. And finally, thanks to all of our great gear sponsors this year: NRS, G. Loomis, Yak Attack, Ego Fishing, Yak Rods, Willamette Weapon Custom Lures, Bravo Forte's Strategic Design, RoboHawk, PNW Bass Candy, and ZR Custom Tackle. Well, let's talk about potholes. It was a little dicey yesterday, a little spicy yesterday. It was windy. North wind, so it was a cold wind blowing on you folks, and I know a lot of people didn't even pre-fish much yesterday because it was just kind of brutal out there. And we kept looking at the weather report, and it looked like it was going to be good today, and as we can see now, it really is. We had bluebird skies today, light breeze, great conditions. We had 74 anglers competing in the KFNW event, and 336 fish were submitted to Tourney X. So that's a pretty good day. Today's top 8 anglers will qualify for our championship, the KFNW Bass Classic. That is going to be on Lake Bonneville, the Columbia River, in October. Today's top 7 anglers and the Three Rivers Tackle Big Bass winner will all cash a check. Today's 8th place winner is the first angler out of the money. So they're going to win the $100 Discount Tackle gift certificate. I'm going to start with 8th place, and then I'll move up to first and Big Bass. And I'm going to ask the top 3 and the Big Bass winner to come up and talk about their day. And with that, let's get started. In 8th place, our first angler out of the money. This angler had a total of 78.5 inches. They submitted 10 fish on Tourney X. They had a 17.75 inch kicker, winning $100 from Discount Tackle, Mr. Joff Linson from Washington. Let's hear it for Joff. Where you at, Joff? Good job. Well done, man. In 7th place, with 79 inches, 6 fish submitted to Tourney X. They had a 17-inch kicker, winning $161 from Oregon, Mr. Andrew Larson. Where you at, Andrew? Wave to the crowd. There he is. He's sitting down over there. In 6th place, with 81 3/4 inches, also submitted 6 fish to Tourney X, with an 18-inch kicker, winning $168 from Washington, Mr. Will Raymond. Where are you, Will? Stand up, wave. Everybody's over there. Okay, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. In 5th place, with 83 inches, 10 fish submitted. They had a 19-inch kicker, winning $193, Mr. Brian Oles from Washington. Where are you, Brian? There he is, right there. Good job, man. All right. Now this is where it gets fun. For fourth and third place, we had a tie. These two anglers had 84 inches even. One of them had 14 fish submitted. One of them had 12 fish submitted. If you haven't fished with us much, you might not know how a tiebreaker works. The way a tiebreaker works is whoever has the biggest big fish in their bag, that's the angler that wins. So these guys were tied on their total inches, and they were an inch apart on their kickers. One had a 17.75 inch kicker, and one had an 18.75 inch kicker. The 17.75 inch kicker from Washington, Mr. Chris Williams. I said the top three, but come on up here. You tied for third, so you get to talk and hang out. So did I say you win 258? Yeah. Talk to us about your day there. Chris did something phenomenal, which I need to go back and look and make sure you really did it, because I looked at it like 3 times. And I was like, that can't be right. But it was. Chris wasn't on the board at all. And all of a sudden, he dropped 5 fish just on the board. Boop, 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 right together, which isn't that unusual. Sometimes people are out, they get hot on some fish. They don't want to upload. They hang on to them, and then they upload. And I figured that's what Chris did. And then we start judging them all. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And so I look, and I see when the first one was caught of those 5, and when the last one was caught in those 5. And he caught those 5 fish, which carried him through most of the day. He didn't cull a whole lot of them. He did that in 14 minutes. He got a nearly placing, definitely a cash checking bag in 14 minutes. That's impressive. So you got to tell us how you did that.
Basically, I found a cove that basically had like 10 feet of water with a bunch of grass in it, and these fish were just kind of sitting around the edges. And first thing in the morning, I tried jerk bait, swim bait. They didn't want to eat it, so I threw a chatter, and they were on it. Like 3 casts in a row, I had 3 fish, and they just kept eating it. By the time the sun came up, I turned around, and they were on jerk bait. So that's basically how my day went.
Way to go. And those fish, if I remember right, those were all like 15.5 to 17.5. Those 5 fish. Crazy. All right. Well, that means the third place person probably already figured out who he is. Again, 84 inches, 12 fish, an 18 3/4 inch kicker. The difference is Chris is cashing a check for $258. This person's cashing a check for $1,028. From Washington, Mr. Jordan Duggar. Come on up here. Jordan, you were hot all day. You never stopped. Like most people get hot for a while, but Jordan just kept piling fish on, and he's bouncing up and down on the leaderboard. We're watching him. What'd you do? What worked for you?
Every fish I caught today was on a chatterbait and about 5 to 10 feet of water going across the tops of the flooded willows, and I never took it out of my hand all day.
Way to go. Good job. There's your third place, 1,028, and this trophy right here is third. If I get you to line up right over there. Just line up right there. That's great. Thank you. Let's hear it again for Jordan. Way to go. All right, here we are. Second place. In second place, this angler had 86.5 inches. They submitted 9 fish to Tourney X. They had an 18.75 inch kicker. Cashing a check for $1,349 from Oregon, Mr. Brandon Hua. Way to go, man. Tell us about your day.
Well, it was cold this morning. Caught everything on a urchin-style bait and a minnow. No, I'm kidding. Pretty much was just junk fishing the whole day. No, that's not fun. Pretty much just power fishing the whole time, fishing shallow. Started off the morning with a jig, actually right next to the boat launch, and caught that 18.75. But most of my fish during practice was on chatterbait, and I tried to chase that bite all day. Some people were able to make it work. I couldn't, and I ended up actually catching a lot of them on 5-inch stick bait. Was going down the bank, standing up, and saw the fish come out from the shallows, and that was kind of my key to start throwing the stick bait up shallow. Just whack a rig, 5-inch, and that's what I got it done. So it was just a lot of junk fishing. I caught 17.5 the last like 20 minutes on a shaky head that I never threw the whole week. It was actually one that I threw during a classic, and it was just, I looked at it and I'm like, I haven't thrown it today, and caught 17.5 again right next to the boat launch at the end of the day. But it was fun. It was a tough derby, but definitely happy with the finish.
Way to go. Let's hear it. Get your check over here. It's a big bass.
Big bass.
That doesn't look like the right amount.
Not that one either.
Turn it this way. All right, there you go. There's your check. There's your plaque. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, Brandon and Chris really had some clutch culls in the last hour. Just in the last hour, they both put fish right in the middle of their bag. All right. And then there was one or two, because we still have big bass as well. All right, this angler had 90.25 inches. They submitted 7 fish. They had a 19.5-inch kicker, which happened to be big bass of the day as well. Cashing a check. Oh, I left part of the amount off of here. I left the big bass amount off here, sorry. Cashing a check for first place for $3,275 from British Columbia, Canada, Mr. Hayden Dowson. Get on up here. And that 19.5, I just looked up the big bass amount. It's on here. We'll have to look at the big check to see how much it was. Your big bass amount was $810. So basically $4,000 even, just about. Well done. How did you do it? Because he got that pretty early too, and it's just that. What's the secret?
Kind of just stuck to chatterbait the whole day. Same thing as Jordan. 5-10 foot, and the big bass actually scared the hell out of me. I was just reeling in, and next thing I know, it's 2 feet to my right off the boat, and now I'm scrambling for a net and trying not to lose it.
Nice.
That's about it.
Way to go, man.
Thank you.
Well done. Couple of checks for you there. One of those. And one of that. So they can see you. I don't want to block you. And one of that. We'll get your pictures in just a minute. Just hang out there. So, our next event is, where is our next event? Is 10 Mile in Southern Oregon, along the coast. I hope that all of you will make it out there. I hope we'll get some good numbers. We got some good numbers for it last year. It was our first event of the year last year. It should be in really good shape. It's just the right time of year to go there. But before 10 Mile, we've got our spring opens coming up. So we've got 4 spring opens happening. One in Dorena Lake in Oregon, one at Brownlee Reservoir in southern Idaho. In Washington, we're doing Alder Lake. And in northern Idaho, we're doing Fernon Lake. So we initially had that set up for Anderson, but they're not allowing tournaments on Anderson. So we had to move it kind of at the last minute. So it's going to be on Fernon Lake, right next to Coeur d'Alene, just above, right next to the Lake Coeur d'Alene and right next to the city of Coeur d'Alene. Should be good. Again, prime time for all those lakes too, 2 weeks from now on May 9th. I hope you make it, and Hope to see you down at 10 Mile.